We are back. It's Dave Scott with Lori from Purposely Unplugged. This month, we're going to talk about everybody getting out of school, from university students to public school students to high school to teachers to EAs. Why do you want to talk about them? Tell me what's going on, Lori.
For the last couple of years, I've worked with lots of folks as they wrap up their school year. There's lots of stress, particularly with COVID. We've had online, we've had in class. So, what I like to consider is that the summer months are an opportunity to just talk about some of the stress, to unpack it. Often, what I find is you're finished your last day, you drop that backpack, and you don't touch it again. But a better way to look at it is just to talk about some of the challenges and celebrate some of the successes.
It's an interesting concept because when you brought that to my attention, I thought about, when my daughter was off to university and some of the struggles she would have had at the beginning and at the end of the year. And
Mhm,
I wish I had thought about that at the time because it really does resonate, doesn't it? And
mhm,
it can be anything from testing
mhm,
to living
mhm,
arrangements for university students.
mhm,
All that stuff comes into play. Split
mhm,
families, right? All that has an effect on on a child's schooling.
absolutely. And not only that, I'm thinking in terms of students themselves, teachers, EAs, college, university students, preparation for grade 9. Preparation for leaving to college and
Oh
university
yeah.
is a big topic. And then for teachers and EAs, it's looking at some of the challenges that might have happened that year and building a success plan for the following year.
I never thought about the teachers either, or the
Hmm.
EAs or the ECEs.
Hmm.
Like, that's huge
Hmm.
because if they have a tough year at the school,
Hmm.
they're drained, aren't they,
Hmm.
emotionally? And you've got to, I mean, they got to gear back up
Hmm.
for the fall. It's not just like you can leave those problems at the door. You really should. I never even thought
Hmm.
of that. Not unload them on you, but
Hmm.
sort of, what would you say? Sort of let it go or just deal with it?
It can be both. Everyone's so different, Dave. So some people like to talk things through, other people like to kind of really consider what their options are. And sometimes it's just a refocus and a reframe. So with EAs and teachers, there's also been so much PPE, the struggle just physically of doing your job, not mentally and emotionally as well. And for students, there's been this same concerns of PPE and just working through all the different stages this past year.
And we best remind folks what Purposely Unplugged
Hmm.
is and what your role is and
Hmm.
what you can do to help,
Hmm.
where you are.
Hmm.
A quick update on all that as well, please.
Wonderful. The reason I was thinking about this, Dave, is that to think about going to counseling in the summer is a bit of a daunting thought, but my location removes some of that restriction. So if a family were to come and see me, other siblings, other parents could be with children while I'm with the client. Vice versa, one parent could be with children while I'm with another adult. So I don't have an office, Dave. You're not sitting in an office waiting for someone to get done their therapy session. You are on a 5-acre piece of property. You can explore the trails, you can go for a walk. And the other piece I like is that if people are driving to see me, I am 17 minutes from Deer Creek. I am 24 minutes from Port Burwell. Tilsonburg has a splash pad and a water park. So if you're planning an hour to come for counseling, your family can actually appreciate the environment of our bigger location while you're here.
I never even thought of that either.
Mhm,
That's a great concept. Um, why do you think it is? Like, I mean, with the changing system in the schools,
mhm,
and I want to say changing system. Let's reword that.
mhm,
With the way the education system is based right
mhm,
now, you can really see with class
mhm,
sizes and other situations where kids would sort of get lost in the shuffle a little bit throughout the year and
mhm,
maybe need
mhm,
that. Can you kind of rebuild or reshape a child's
mhm,
confidence? I think that's so important, and I
mhm,
think that gets lost sometimes during the
mhm.
school year. Is that one of the roles that you would play as well?
Absolutely. So, every young person I work with, we're looking at confidence, self esteem. We're looking at anxiety, social anxiety, test anxiety. Plus, there's so many things, even around body image, Dave, like bullying, body image. Those conversations are constantly coming up. So, any of those conversations can happen for a young person. And I invite those conversations. And honestly, because of the environment, we could be sitting out in the main part of the grass just sitting. It doesn't even have to be inside the cabin. There's so many options that a young person or a teenager could consider. And for adults as well, Dave, so these would be the professionals, teachers, EAs, ECEs. It's just nice to ground and to breathe and to refocus. And my main premise always is stop, breathe, refocus. So if nothing else, if there's a
I
moment
like
through the
that. I
summer,
like that.
yeah. So if nothing else through the summer, it's a moment to stop, breathe, and refocus.
I love that you're tackling some of these issues that kids have. I really think like the bullying when you brought that
Hmm.
up. I think
Hmm.
that's such an important thing for children of all ages to have an
Hmm.
outlet to talk to somebody, and I think that gets
Hmm.
overlooked dramatically. And I think
Hmm.
that, and when you said about testing too, the
Hmm.
anxiety that may go into some of these kids who are really smart,
Hmm.
really capable of doing it,
Hmm.
but that anxiety may hit at that time,
Hmm.
and maybe we forget about addressing those, and it's something that can have a lifelong effect. And I
Hmm.
think it's so important that what the work that you're doing, let's get to these problems a little bit earlier,
Hmm.
help that child adjust so that they
Hmm.
can focus and have an excellent childhood,
Hmm.
correct?
Absolutely.
Wow, we a lot of good stuff. So what's your background? Remind me again, so that folks know.
Okay. I did my first BA in 1990, so do not do that math. So in 1990, I did it. So I did a child studies BA from University of Guelph. That was my beginning. I did a career development practitioner post grad, which assisted me in working with job search, career focus, career decision making. And then recently, I did my master's in counseling arts psychology.
Wow. So the one thing, and I think I want to mention this again because I think it's so
Mhm,
cool. You're in an outdoor setting, folks. You
mhm,
can go to Lori's, you can feel comfortable,
mhm,
and that's purposely unplugged, right?
mhm,
You leave the phones, you sit and
mhm,
have a conversation. I
mhm,
think that's something we all need to do more of it. But I imagine y- doing it with you would be
mhm,
extra special because obviously you can sort of look at the issues that maybe people are having, or just small problems,
mhm,
and help them sort of resolve them,
mhm.
right?
Absolutely. And sometimes, Dave, you never.
And how's
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask how everybody's doing on the farm because I know that one of the main components that helps you has had a little bit of a rough go, but she's back on her feet and doing fine. Correct?
She is back on her feet and she is not in the woods yet. So that has not happened. We still have too much water. We can't
Oh,
get a tractor back there to build her
oh,
enclosure. So I am
oh.
eagerly,
Okay.
I am eagerly.
Maybe explain folks what we're talking about.
Okay. I've been working with a cow, and she is a full size cow, so 1,400 pounds. I'd like to build an enclosure for her over in the woods with me, but there has been so much rain and so much water that we cannot get tractors back in there to build her enclosure,
Oh,
and she needs to be safe. We have wolves, we have coyotes, we have wild animals back there. So she needs to be safe at the same time that she's assisting us in our process. But the chickens are out
yeah.
there, so the
Tell
chickens are on the field and ready to go.
tell folks what her role is because
Hmm.
I don't think they really realize, and I love it because
Hmm.
I've seen this before and it works very well.
Hmm. Animal assisted therapy in general is just a wonderful way to build our connection, to expand our connection, and to ground ourselves. You absolutely need to be grounded yourself. Your breathing needs to be under control. So, relaxation for yourself is a huge part of animal assisted therapy. And she is very engaged in responding with you. She loves to be touched, petted, brushed. She loves treats. And definitely, she is interested in the animal assisted therapy component as soon as we can get her over into the woods.
See, that's folks, that's what I love about Lori. Super
Hmm.
cool, different ideas, different ways of thinking.
Hmm.
Outdoor therapy is great.
Hmm.
It's kind of like the forest bathing, really.
Hmm.
Um, can you give us a website? Any other information you want to share today? I know you got to get to work.
Sure. To find us, it is https double colon slash slash purposefully unplugged .ca. My email, Lori at purposefullyplugged.ca, and my phone number, 226 934 7425.
Anything else you want to share today, Lori?
Thanks, Dave. It's lovely to have a chat. I'm looking forward to chats throughout the summer.
Me too. Take care. We'll talk next month.
Okay, bye bye.